Good evening, Sunday. Welcome back to Where the Owl Sleep. It's another episode of the Parliament. Stocky, how's it going, mate? You good?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I've just managed to wake myself up after that England game yesterday.
Well,
Nearly
yeah.
sent me into hibernation.
Well, you're a better man than me because I didn't even watch it. So I couldn't even bring myself to factor that in. So I completely missed the game. But a little bit frustrating because most of the news is about Elliot Anderson playing quite well, which is frustrating for Newcastle fans. So, yeah, annoying even though I didn't watch it.
Trust me, it was it would have been doubly annoying if you did watch it, mate.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, for now, we do have one other with us. Jack's with us. I believe John is joining very soon. How's it going, Jack? Another week and another win for the Wanderers.
Yeah, another. He's doing some heavy lifting there, but yeah, got the win. That's all that mattered after club record 4 1-1s in a row. So yeah, very glad to
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I watched the Orient game. Oh my god, that's a smash and grab at the end. They were battered that second half.
It's the big game, isn't it, next week?
As you've mentioned it, Stocks, I was going to go into Bolton, but you've brought up Orient straight away.
Yeah, really good game to watch. Do you know what? I usually I've often said there's too much football on telly, but having the EFL on Sky Plus every now and then, it's lovely. I'll watch any old stuff, and it's even handier when Orient are on. Really decent game. Port Vale deserved to get a lead. Then from there, really Orient dominated the rest of the first half. Couple of good goals, and after the break, Port Vale were proper out the blocks. Really good the rest of the half. It was like a typical game of two halves. Orient really hadn't done much in the second. Then proper last knock-ins, go and snatch it with like a really classic counter-attack goal. And Josh Koroma, 3 assists in a game. It's not bad.
Some decent guy, to be fair. It's always good when the manager's son comes off the bench to get the win, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it actually happened twice. This weekend. Do you know who the other one was?
Ooh.
Well, Steve Bruce's son's retired, isn't
he? The only other one I can think of is Cleverly.
No. It was Oldham's game. Mickey Mellon, his son.
Oh, okay.
That's good stuff. I think we need it.
I can't imagine it's happened
that often. Yeah.
Twice on a day, right?
No, definitely not. I thought
because they
go with one of the worst jokes ever there off the back of Mellon.
Yeah. It was a tapping. No, I'm joking. I don't actually know who it was. But yeah, they actually went through it on the radio. The reason I know that is because they were talking about him playing. And they were saying that they interviewed the older manager after last game, and they were saying, "Oh, how's that signing coming along?" And he said, "No, it's gone. It's dead." And then he signed on transfer deadline day, and they were saying on the radio, like, "Surely you just get on the phone to him, right? Or get around the dinner table, like
get out of bed, get your boots on."
Yeah, I think he won 1-0 as well, Oldham.
Perfect.
That's dream world, isn't it?
Yeah,
100%. Just out of interest, Jack, because I know you said you was listening to the game on the radio at the weekend. Are you a 5 Live or are you a talk shite man?
Worse, mate. I'm actually BBC Manchester, so I
I
only listen to it in the car on the way to the match, and then afterwards just to obviously, because my thoughts on positive football fans. It's like a sick thing I have about me. So eventually you'll get someone come on being negative, and I'm just like, it's in, fucking finally some realism. Someone rang you before and said, it's to talk about the 4-1-1 draws in a row, and I know it's just basic maths and obvious, but he said, "Well, I prefer to have won one of them and lost one of them." And the guy was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "But you wouldn't be 4 unbeaten." And I said, "Yeah, but we'd have a point more." And they had Phil Brown, obviously he's got quite a connection to Bolton, and Pete Hill, who managed us for a couple of years, who's a bit of a fucking Looney Tunes, to be honest. And unfortunately, I don't know if you've ever seen that meme when it's like the person you hate the most makes a good point. Kind of like I'm seeing floating around with Michael Owen at the moment after interviews this week.
Oh yeah.
They were saying actually about Bolton's start, it's like you could look at it one way and say one defeat all season, but up until Saturday, it was one victory all season as well. So yeah, I only listened to it then. So I could talk sport, mate. All of it riles me, mate. Hearing that Rory Jennings speak, nah. I'd nearly crash my car. I'd nearly crashed my car trying to fucking switch the channel instantly. Guy's a whopper.
Yeah, he is. I can't stand that bloke whatsoever.
Yeah.
Really gets on my
We'll dedicate a whole show to people in the media who we hate.
Oh
for our 5-hour blockbuster show.
Yeah,
we could do a good few shows on that, I feel. But Jack, over to your game.
Yeah, good game, played well. Cozy Dubry his first league goal for us. I thought he'd scored, to be honest, but Mason Burstow 4 in 7. Joel Randall, who needed a goal, with a bit of a poaching goal as well, which was good. Should have scored more. I was actually 4 minutes late to the game, and I turned up and I said, "Oh, it's not like at least it's not like last time 1-0 down." He was like, "They have just hit the post." I was like, "For fuck's sake!" and I've seen it back, and they did. So we're lucky to get off early on, but yeah, in control. They look pretty poor, Wimbledon. I don't know how they got more points than us, but I don't know if you've seen the tackle. It's fucking horrific. The straight red. And then the one late on was 2 yellows. I was quite annoyed, really, because he got sent off. They were down to 9, and we had 7, and they put 7 minutes of injury time up. And I was saying to the guys around me, I was like, they should try and use this for like a training ground exercise. Like if a team is, you draw in, and a team is going to be, clinging on to everything and just do all you can, and they just obviously just wanted to score, rather than just taking pot shots left, right, and centre. But 3-0, take that. It's a much needed win. So now it's unbeaten in 5 in the league, beaten in 6, in the league. So looking up rather than down. But yeah, it's a big game. We're level on points with Orient as well, so it feels like it's a big game for both our seasons. Really, we haven't won away since April Fool's Day. So, and that was against Wigan, and I couldn't even watch it because I was at a pub quiz where they took your phones off you. So, I don't know what that says about me, or but yeah, we haven't won away since April the 1st. So, the bigger thing is as well, our two of our starters were away on international duty, and this is the first year, I think I said last week, for seasons, years, and I can't actually remember last time it didn't happen where our team we didn't play on international break. So Josh Sheehan, who played for Wales, and Owen Toll played for Northern Ireland. They're both in our starting 11. I dare say we look better without them, but
by the way,
they'll have the task getting back in now, then, as you've got a decent win without them there.
Big shout out to former West Ham Academy graduate Marcus Brown for a horrendous tackle.
Yeah, a truly revolting.
So bad. Just didn't even just got up, took his medicine. You can't even legislate what he was thinking because the ball would gone. Maybe just head loss.
On 45 minutes, that was just after half-time, of course. So just before, I'm talking like bang on 45 minutes. He did a stupid little foul right in the corner, in front of me, right in front of us, and you could see clear as day. The referee came over to him, and he was like, remonstrating or whatever. I just thought, just fucking book him to shut him up. And the referee just went here, and he actually pointed to the 3 places that he had committed the fouls, and had basically just gone like, next one you booked. and he's just gone, fuck that, I'll skip the yellow and just go straight through him. Bad tackle though, really bad tackle.
Yeah,
lucky to get up, really lucky to get. And he's been our shining light youth team player, Max Conway. But yeah, crazy tackle.
Yeah,
horrific stuff. But let's get into our topic for the evening. We was going to talk about the transfer window, who we think's had the best window, our sign of the window, and then we're going to go through a few teams, how we believe they're going to set up going forward. So I want to start here. Stocky sent me this earlier, and this is just the spend and the money coming in from this window that we've just had. And the numbers here are mind-blowing. When you compare it to all the other leagues as well, like something's gone crazy in the Premier League. Because I saw a graph which showed that the Premier League has spent something like 100 times more than the next closest league. It's just bonkers.
No, it can't be that.
It's silly. I'm going to try and find it now.
What, in all time?
No, not in all time. In this window.
Oh, because I was going to say, I saw something. It had gone up. It was over 3 billion, like another 800 million on top of the last summer one or something. To that degree,
it's crazy. That page we're looking at there is about $1 billion.
It's more than that. Well, more than that,
billion, isn't it? So
how are Spurs not on this list? How much did they play for Kudus?
Spurs are there. Spurs are fourth from bottom on that list that we're looking at now.
Oh yeah. Sorry, forgot they're called Tottenham. Apologies all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I try my best to not call them Spurs.
Yeah.
Tottenham as much as I possibly can, as no one else seems to get that treatment. But it's crazy because you've even got, that's only like half the teams, and then even the next set of teams, it's still.
Oh, there must be 3 billion there, mate. Looking at spent.
Yeah, crazy number. Yeah. So with what have we got? 4, 6, 10. Yeah, you're going on to 3 billion-ish pounds in one window from all the Premier League teams combined.
And Fulham only signed that one player, didn't they? That Kevin. Is it Kevin? What's his name? The lad from Shakhtar.
Yeah, it might be then. If it's from Shakhtar.
Yeah. They just signed someone with like a randomly, is it like Kennedy or something like that?
Yeah. He's.
Yeah.
I was thinking Forest got that. This is going to break. The system can't go on like this forever, surely.
No, clubs will just find new and ingenious ways of creative accounting, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it though. Burnley and Leeds have pretty much spent the same, haven't they?
Yeah.
Well, on net, Leeds have spent more, but they spent roughly the same. And then you've got Sunderland. I mean, there was that 160 Sunderland on the list, but I feel like I thought that. If you'd said to me, have Sunderland spent double Leeds and Burnley, I would have said, yeah, without a doubt. So I'm surprised theirs isn't higher, to be honest. But
the one that done me when I sent this to Mitch, it's a bit boring. It's getting a bit too beardy usually for me. But it was the net spend I found the most interesting bit. The fact that Chelsea actually turned a profit this summer. And a lot has gone on. I'm sure we're going to end up speaking about Liverpool a lot. And everyone said how much they've spent. But net is like just over 200 million. And they barely spent anything last summer. I think that's why they went so big this year. So everyone that's sort of up in arms about them, I think they've kind of been shrewd about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of Liverpool spending propaganda going around at the moment. Well, not propaganda, people doing, videos and articulating it. But yeah, they're saying that the net spend over like 2 seasons is very, very low considering they've spent 400 million this year.
Yeah, and won a league.
Yeah, and they've got. I think their kit deal as either enhanced or the new one they've signed is outrageous. But I mean, look, we don't really care about that. It's a bit too nerdish, isn't it? But they've still spent 400 million quid, haven't they? That is insane. I bet Inter haven't spent that in 10 years.
It'll be in and around that, yeah. So what do you think this means for all the other European clubs? Because if the Premier League continue spending at this rate, how does the rest of Europe even contend with that? Because no other club in the world could go, like no other country in the world could continue with this kind of spend at all.
I think you've seen Cucurella's comment from this week. This weekend. Sorry, he said about the Spanish league in particular. Said that Sunderland. I think that's where I had 200 million in my head from. Maybe that was 200 million euros or whatever. He'd said Sunderland have spent 200 million this year, and they might not even stay up. And he was like, how can teams in the Liga and that compete? If you imagine, if Spain didn't have nice weather, who the fuck would go to their league? I am obviously half jesting, but why would you?
Yeah, especially if you can definitely get more money elsewhere.
Yeah, for sure. We're talking about serious differences of dough, aren't we? Like massive differences of money. It's I mean, I think La Liga, Liga 1. Oh, there you go. They've just given up. They've just sort of said. I think they had a rights deal go bad about 3 or 4 years ago, but and since then they've just basically said we're just our own league. We're not even going to even contemplate what happens in other leagues. Like it's just nothing to do with us. Because it doesn't. To answer your question, it doesn't seem like it's slowing down. So, in answer to your question of what happens next, the graph is only going up, right?
Yeah.
Like a rocket.
Yeah, crazily. Because although this is the first year of the reset of the 3-year period you get for PSR or whatever goes on with that.
Is that right? Yeah. So it works. So this is the first year of a 3-year cycle.
This is the first year of a 3-year cycle.
Right.
So that will be slightly inflated. But if you look at some of the outgoings as well, there's a couple of teams in there that can just go again. Like Chelsea could just go again. They haven't used any of this. It's just crazy, and teams will just go out and they can sell a couple of big players to just basically reset it again most summers, and then go and spend a load of money. It just seems bonkers to me. But John, welcome.
How you doing, guys? You all right? Apologies for the lateness.
It's all right.
So good.
I was just going to quickly add to that. It's like going on Jack's point about Sunderland and like the comments that Cucurella made. Consider the fact that they signed a guy over this window who's gone from 2 years ago, sort of like captain in a Bundesliga title-winning team, and he's coming in for potentially basically like a relegation fight at Sunderland. Now, you can make questions about the age he's at, and is there more of a coaching thing beyond that, and all those kind of things. But transfers into this league, you don't really think there's like a Granit Xhaka's not necessarily going to go to like a potentially 15th place La Liga team, a 15th place like Ligue 1 team. It's not really going to happen. And if you look even outside of that, like outside of the top 5 leagues, it's almost become more lucrative to go to our second tier. And I think a really good example of this, which I've had a great deal of joy winding a Celtic mate up of mine about, is that Celtic actually lost out on, was it Fofana from Chelsea, right? And he's opted to go and play sort of Nathan Jones like blood and thunder football over going to Celtic and potentially playing in Europe. Well, not potentially, but playing in some form of European competition. But he's opted to go down to like Charlton. Whether that's a staying in London thing or whatever it is it is quite concerning, right? In that regard.
Yeah, it is very, very concerning.
If you look at just out of intrigue, I've just been looking. So, I mean, that stat about 10 times higher isn't right, because Serie A has actually spent a bit more than I thought they would have done. But if you go to La Liga, right? Barcelona are 5th in that, spending 27 million, and you got Girona. So in fact, if you so Real Betis are fourth, yeah. So Atletico, Real, Villarreal, and then Real Betis. So fourth, the top four. You could then insert 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the top 7 spenders in the championship, and it would then go in order. Well, it's actually, it goes in order. So you'd have the top 4 in Spain, and then you would have 7 teams from the championship in order. And then the 12th highest spending would then be Barcelona.
Wow.
So you've got 7 teams in the championship that appear in the top 11 spenders in La Liga. Which just shows you again, Mitch, that it's going nowhere, is it?
No.
Well, we're rapidly approaching the point where the Champo is actually going to be quite a dangerous league in the sense of like, I think when you've got sort of like Wrexham coming up and chucking 10 million quid at a club for a guy that's out of contract in a year, Birmingham going down to League One and sort of like spending 17 million pounds on a player, it isn't just the Prem anymore, and that is going to be problematic because if we want to talk about like real clubs that, because we know this whole Wrexham thing's not the romantic story the PR spins it as, but if you're like an Oxford just trying to compete, just trying to do enough to stay in that league, soon enough the Championship's going to become one of those leagues where you automatically get bombed out of if you're not of a certain financial structure.
Yeah. I was saying in the match on Saturday again that that lad we've got from Brighton, Cozier Dewberry, things may have gone wrong at Blackburn or whatever, or seemingly didn't fancy it, but Blackburn weren't in for him. No one really in the Championship was in for him, and he is noticeably fucking amazing in our league, like noticeably very good. And you just think, if that's the step up, that he's not cutting the grade in the Championship, we just have to rip our whole team up again. I don't really know how anyone's managing to compete. Looking at La Liga, you've got teams that have made, Villarreal spent 100, they've made 6 million. Girona have made 28, Sociedad 58, Espanyol 10, Celta Vigo 37. The net spend is near enough 200 million in that. In fact, no, it's about 250 million in the Liga. From if you take out like a couple of teams, it's a positive. So as a league, they've actually received more than they've spent. I mean, the net spend's got to be 2 billion in the Premier League, right? I know there's been people moving and stuff, but it's got to be. If it's around 3 billion spend, It is crazy, and League One is becoming that now. People are willing to, if you go down and someone then takes a punt on you, it's just going nowhere.
Should I tell you something that I was thinking about earlier on today, which really turns my stomach in this PSR age, is that now clubs are getting youngsters, like they'll produce youngsters to sell for pure profit, so they can buy in. And that's, I don't know, like, well, I already know your answer, 3 of your answers to this, but it's like the antithesis of what we want as a football fan. You want those local players to progress through your club, get to the first team, stay in the first team, and do everything they can because they've got that link, that dedication. They're you on as close as you'll get your feelings on the pitch. And now you're just making them players to sell so you can go buy someone else. And I'm like, it's just the beginning of the end, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No wonder everyone feels so distant about it.
Yeah. And on your point, Jack, my quick maths makes it about 1.3 billion net spend.
Right, okay. So it's actually, which is still an insane, mind-boggling number.
Sure.
Do you know who's got the highest net spend in the Championship?
Could be us, actually, because we've sold, we made a couple of very big sales.
There you go, mate.
Yeah.
At least you get to sing that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
If net spends, you'll never sing that.
Yeah.
Pompey definitely won't, mate. So,
71 million euros it is.
Get it on a bed
wow.
sheet, John. Get it on a bed sheet. Take it up and down the country.
Yeah, what a tifo, honestly. Like, you know.
But yeah, that's what it is. 71 million euros it's got, yeah. And
Jesus.
then you got Leicester and then Ipswich, Sheffield United, and then it just starts to, fall off a cliff. Wrexham's right at the bottom of it with, minus 37 million. Which they just don't have, do they? That's, there's just, there's no fucking planet or world that exists where, Wrexham have got the fan base, the history to have a net spend like that.
That's why I look forward to another 16 seasons on Disney Plus to leverage it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Ryan Reynolds coming out with loads of rubbish films just to make up the difference. Okay, right. We've had a little dabble into the numbers. Let's talk about the actual team. So we're going to start at the bottom and kind of work our way up. The relegation battle. We spoke about Leeds, Sunderland, and Burnley all spending, Leeds and Burnley spending similar and Sunderland spending more than the rest. But these are the teams we spoke about when we did predictions about potentially going down. I would say out of these, the three that have come up are the three that you could probably have a guess at that they've had better windows than the other three existing Premier League teams that have been the image, because they've been depleted. They've had their teams ripped to pieces and haven't really replaced them with any certified quality. But open forum, what do you three reckon on the state of the relegation battle now that the windows closed?
Is there an argument to be made that Bournemouth keeping Iraola is kind of simply the most important thing to like for any of the clubs that are sort of mentioned on this graphic? I believe that sort of Iraola staying at Bournemouth is possibly the biggest differential out of any signing that could have been made by any of them.
Potentially, yeah, because the way he set up the first few games, you can see that he's still getting a tune out of the team that he's got.
Yeah, you'd really worry for them if he got cherry picked at some point, but
he's made it.
Or when he inevitably does.
I mean, I'm just having a look at Bournemouth's transfers. Obviously, they've made a lot of money this summer. A few bob. Obviously, like everyone does, they've paid over 20 million quid for a Chelsea player that I've never seen play before. What's that? Georgi Petrovic, Diakate from Lille. That Doak, they've signed Doak from Liverpool for 25. Yeah, he's highly rated, but a lot of money, isn't it?
It's fucking shite at us.
Was it?
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
I mean, mate, it's just like Josh Cullen, crap for us. Absolutely shit for 2 years, and I thought he will actually drop into non-league. Now he's a Premier League player with Burnley and full into. I was watching Ireland-Hungary the other day, and he's on the pitch, and I'm just like, how?
Josh Cullen was always all right. He was never going to get a game at us because he was just
we got him from you.
I know. He was just never going to play ahead of Mark Noble, was he? He was
No. I thought he was pony.
Well, whenever I've seen him play for Burnley, he's been decent, mate.
Well, he finished bottom of the league with us, so yeah.
Dragged him.
How many years would Mark Noble have survived at West Ham under this new PSR thing?
Probably loads, because no one ever wanted him. What Fulham put in a bid once. Okay,
interesting.
I was going to say if he had a couple of yards of pace about him, he'd have been worth loads.
So I mean, Bournemouth are streets ahead on the net spend.
Oh yeah,
streets ahead. They've got a net spend of 100 million, which I think it's probably fair to say we all thought meant they would struggle, but they look just the same. In all honesty,
got to say, while we got Brentford on there, essentially they've sold Buemo and who's the one that Newcastle just got,
Wissa.
So that's like over £120 million for two players in the last year of their contract. Do you know what? Yeah. I don't think obviously they'll care if they go down, but surely if they stay sensible, they're like set for a long, long time. I think they've just taken
They
the money.
spent though, didn't they? What did they spend on that? The guy
Well,
from Bournemouth,
that
Dangan.
That was
Yeah.
about 40 million, wasn't it? Or
40,
like,
42. Obviously, they went a
Blimey.
bit frugal on Jordan Henderson. Liverpool keeper for 18, who I
Yeah, I
think,
mean,
if he has a good year, they could sell him a couple of good years. You could sell him for more than that, couldn't you?
yeah.
Big up Spotlight on Spurs. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, they could do, but like, I think I didn't realise Wolves had spent so much, to be honest, because their net spend, they've spent more than they've got in, which baffles me considering they've said they've sold massive on a couple of players, but yeah, I can't think of anybody who they've brought in that's actually really going to replace what they've sold, other than that John Arias that we spoke about before the Club World Cup. I don't remember seeing any sort of stellar-looking signings for them.
Is it possible we can attribute some of that spend to like Vitor Pereira putting it behind the bar at one of the local pubs, or is that?
I think they had to pay for that Larson, wasn't he on loan?
Yeah, they paid 23 for him.
That was still only 20. Yeah, that's still only 20 or
Yeah, it was a good. Yeah.
Yeah, can't figure out where the rest of the money's gone, though. Strange one.
Yeah. Well, he seems a nice chap. Imagine that, a Premier League striker who didn't threaten to go on strike when he didn't get what he wanted.
Yeah.
Worth every penny.
Yeah. Well, sometimes these things happen. Similar thing happened with Gay as well. Did try to do it the right way, didn't get his move, but it's just one of those things. So is everybody sort of still in the same boat to what they said when we spoke about it previously, that these are really the six that we think could be in what could actually be a more interesting relegation battle than it has been the last few seasons?
Well, I've said since day one, I think Sunderland will stay up. I think they'll stay up. I think they've now got a good chance to build, and they seem to produce the odd academy. Well, not the odd, but I mean pretty consistent academy players. So I think they'll finish above all those teams. Actually, no, but Bournemouth have already made me look a tit. I don't want to double down on that. No, fuck it, I'll double down. Actually, no, I will double down there. They'll finish with Bournemouth as well.
Okay, fair enough.
And the way Bournemouth are going, they look like they're going to finish fifth. So, yeah, in the top four.
They'll always burn out. I don't feel like Bournemouth have got the staying power to sort of like go for a whole season. Yeah. But I do honestly think like Iraola staying means they're probably all right for now. Yeah. It's how like it's what happens. Similarly to a Thomas Frank, I guess it's similar. Like when he goes, what's the response?
But Bournemouth are one of them patchy sides, aren't they? They go on amazing runs and then they won't win for 5 or 6, and then they've got another major run. Don't you think that with these sides, another thing that will sort of fall into their hands is so many teams are in Europe this season. So many teams are going to have to be playing Saturday midweek, and they could take a little bit of advantage of that.
Yes.
Because it's kind of unprecedented the amount of teams we've actually got in Europe this year.
Is it 9 in total?
Yeah, I believe so.
8 or 9?
Definitely, I think it's 9.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Silly.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, means lots of fucking Sundays going to watch football. Sundays is sitting indoors watching football, not travelling to watch West Ham lose. That is not what I'm about.
Yeah.
I don't think I've got a Sunday game until January, and then it's Middlesbrough. So imagine.
Hey, you're playing on Sunday next weekend.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. I've kind of blanked that one out because like it's the last one for a while. But yeah, that's going to be something. That's going to be an early start.
Yeah.
So,
who have you got next weekend?
That's small matter of Pompey at home. You know. So
nice little derby.
Wait, it's good. You know it's good when ITV have got a fixture on live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good fun, right?
No,
Yeah, I'll be more interested in the CCTV than the match.
Oh, mate, don't, honestly. The debrief next week will be something else, put it that way. I'm bound to see and hear some things next week. Right?
I've just noticed that weirdly, Newcastle's first Champions League game is on a Thursday.
Yeah, I thought I saw that the other day. I think someone tweeted. I thought it might have been an error, but are they?
I think they stretch it out. I think they stretch it out in the first match week, don't they?
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
when's Europa League now? Like Saturday lunchtime or something.
Yeah. Champions League just doesn't get enough.
Is Monday afternoon.
Yeah, probably.
Doesn't get enough exposure, does it? The Champions League, so they've got to give them a fair chance.
That's just mental, though. That game is going to completely dominate any neutral's viewing that evening over the Conference League and the Europa League. I don't see why. That just seems mental to me.
I would highly suspect there's going to be some 6 o'clock kickoffs and 8 o'clock kickoffs to try and supplement a bit of that.
Oh yeah. Even the Conference League last year had like
there's loads of 4:45 kickoffs, like
school run and stuff like that. It was like 3:30.
Yeah.
Silly stuff like that.
Well, that team that knocked Celtic out, surely their kickoff times are going to be all over the place.
Yeah,
you'd think, because like any of their 4 home fixtures, they wouldn't be kicking off at like your traditional Champions League time, just simply because of the geography of where it is. Like,
jeez, just when you thought you had nothing left in the ribs from laughing at Rangers, Celtic come along as well.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Where are they even from?
It's Kazakhstan, but it's like to the point where like it's so far. I think it's like towards China. It's like that sort of distance.
Yeah.
It's like it's absolutely outrageous how far. Like it's like it's a stinking away draw for anyone that managed to get it. And I think Real Madrid might be one of the teams that did.
So they're +5 from us.
Jeez.
Kira Almaty are +5.
Yeah, because I saw a video of the Celtic fan, and the kickoff was 5 o'clock, and not full time. He was like, "It's midnight here."
Yeah. Oh man.
So if it was normal, it'd be past 3 a.m., wouldn't it?
Yeah. So like their games are going to kick off at some extraordinary times, you'd imagine.
Yeah, I think it's just 4 and 5 o'clock. I think. I don't think they'll be allowed to kick off any later than that. In fact, they won't be allowed to kick off any later than that.
Nah.
Bonkers stuff. Right, next little bracket. Wanted to talk about what I'm calling the no man's land. Only because when we did our predictions,
I'm chuffed with that. I thought I'd be in the last group.
They weren't mentioned in any brackets. No one mentioned them for Europe. No one mentioned them for relegation. So they're just in a random no man's land in the middle of the table. So we have Palace, Everton, Forest, Man United, Fulham, and West Ham.
It's interesting because I think all of those clubs have had varying degrees of windows. I think some of them have had decent windows, and I think some of them have had absolute stinkers.
Right, who do you feel has had a bit of a stinker, really?
I'll throw Fulham in that mix. I think, for me, I always think that like one of Fulham's bigger issues is I'm not necessarily sure where the goals are going to come from to be like consistently away from trouble. And I think they're another one of those teams that, again, I think I've touched on this before, like on other pods, but I think where you kind of had United and Spurs stinking up the joint as badly as they did last season, you would imagine both of those teams kick on a bit. That throws Fulham down a couple more pegs. But Fulham strike me as the type of team, they've not really done a great deal in terms of depth. I certainly still think they're light up top. I think they had a really good opportunity to get rid of Muniz for a good amount of money and then potentially try and reinvest that on a bit more quality like in terms of the front line. You sort of suspect that if they end up getting a few injuries, not saying they get dragged completely into the scrap, but I don't think they'll be quite as high up as they were last year at all.
I think they could get dragged into it, because partly the other thing is that I don't think they would be up for a scrap. So if things start going against them, by all accounts, that Muniz ain't particularly impressed that he's not been allowed to go.
Yeah.
If that,
I think for the money they were offered, it sounds bonkers that they didn't.
I know. But I think they could get dragged into a scrap. To be honest with you.
I don't think the Khan family are exactly renowned for their fantastic running of sports franchises. So if you pay attention to their jaunts in America with the Jaguars and that, they're widely considered to be quite horrific owners. And it seems like the son would rather be buying wrestlers than footballers. So, you know.
Well, as a statue nonce, surely, Stocky, you're a fan of Craven Cottage.
Yeah. Definitely in my top 5.
It is quite it's a weird ground because many years ago I used to really enjoy visiting there, and a friend of mine who's a Fulham fan, it's like when you talk to him about his experience of getting tickets and that, he's like, it's horrible now because suddenly tickets have been put through the roof, and it's like you're talking for category A games close to £100 for certain stands.
£92 or something daft. I saw
I remember I went there last season. I can't remember who with. Must have been Burnley. It's usually Burnley when I go there. It's either Burnley or bloody Newcastle. But the new stand that they were building was just empty. No one's going there because they don't care.
Yeah,
we ain't paying.
But it's because of how much they're charging for it, Stocks. That's genuinely what it is.
It's horrendous.
And I think my mate did come to the Southampton game with me around Christmas last year. He went in that stand and he just said it was horrific. It was just literally, it was the epitome of tourists. You were I was one of the few people that didn't have an American accent. It's mad what they're doing, but
crazy. Ain't that the stand that they've put a swimming pool on the top?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the one to the Thames.
What?
Yeah, did you not know that one, Jack?
They've built a swimming pool on the top of the stand.
Yeah.
Oh, you fucking Southerners, man. What the fuck is wrong?
Don't put them on us, man.
The only time if they had that at Bolton, the only time they could use it is when it's off season in July.
It's got a microclimate around our ground, mate. We won't even be able to use it then. Wow, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, strange one. Very strange one. Odd team to have in this group, traditionally, would be Man United. And on the face of it, with the amount of money they spent, they haven't exactly had a slow window because they spent over £200 million and brought just over 50. So they've gone for it, but weirdly, none of us have got them anywhere near Europe. And I don't think that's changed since the close of the window, unless someone wants to jump in and say anything different, because they've just bought 3 strikers and not really an awful lot else. And the midfield's still crap, and they've brought some child-looking goalkeeper.
Onana's gone today, hasn't
he? Yeah, which could work or could be horrendously bad from just like Onana has been. So it's there. I just don't get what their plan was this summer. I really cannot understand it whatsoever, because the amount of money they've spent, they easily could have put together a functioning side, and I don't believe they've done it.
I think they'll be in some 3-2s and 4-3s this year, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
In fact, they've already been in a 3-2, haven't they?
I think the problem is that everyone knows that the problem is they're just so desperate. They're so desperate to find something to hang their hat on, just to have a player that, people are not going to mock them about. And because they need them that badly, people go, we'll chuck another 10, 15 on. And they're like, yeah, all right, we just really want them. We don't want to change manager again because it looks bad. So we'll just give him everything he wants. And they just throw good money after bad, don't they? And it's so good to see. Do you think it's really going to matter what players they bring in? It just seems the style of what the manager wants to play and the club and everything. Just nothing seems to gel.
And it also thinks the coherence of that as well, because if they do, it sort of feels like the part and the ways of Amorim will be inevitable at some point this season almost. But it's like then once you've done that, you've done it again. You've shut 200 million at all these players to play in a system that he wants to play. By the way, spare a thought for Manchester Tea Lady and all this, who was let go after 92 years at the club or whatever it was. And like watching, we haven't got the money for you, but we've got 70 million quid over here for this. But then inevitably, like when they do part ways with Amorim, like what happens? Because then you go to a different manager and you've got the exact same problem with a new set of players and another group of players that are probably going to be surplus to requirements for what they want. So it's
And also, they sell horrendous, don't they, Man United? I was just looking at their outgoings. So they bought Anthony for, what was it? Was it 80 or 100?
80 odd mil.
80.
Yeah.
Went for
25, wasn't it?
Yeah, 21.7 on the BBC. And Garnacho, a couple of seasons ago, they were saying, like, oh, this next big thing, like 75 to 100. He went to Chelsea for 40. And I still think pound for 40. And it's happened for quite a while. They just don't get fees. They just sell badly. And everyone goes on about buying players. You have to sell players well too. And they're both, probably.
But that's the
Can't
problem.
admit
When you put players on such big wages, selling them becomes
Yep.
massive.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Lindelof to Villa is the most sort of like FIFA career mode spam transfer ever, where no one saw that one coming. Yeah. It's like I didn't actually know that had happened until like Wednesday or Thursday. I was like, seriously, what? Like, you know. So, but another case of sort of like players that are on massive wages. How do you sell them on? Like realistically.
Exactly. You've kind of got to rob someone else just to get rid of them because of the wages.
Yeah.
I think this weekend's game is gonna be United's biggest game of the season. If they can get a result against City, they then go into Chelsea at home in a positive vibe, Brentford away, which feels a little bit easy, Sunderland at home, which they should win, and then they play Liverpool away. But if they don't win against United and don't win against Chelsea and then don't win against Brentford, you'd fancy Sunderland with their no fear approach to run them close, and then they go to Anfield and they could not get a win. They could not get a win in 5, and then they play Brighton at home. It's pretty. Forest away, Spurs away.
They're traditionally poor against Brighton in the last few years as well.
Yeah. So
that bloke's ever going to cut his hair? He's never going to cut his hair again, is he?
No,
it's going to be ridiculous. He's going to have to film it from like 3 foot away.
Don't see it being this season anyway.
He's got a long wait for that haircut.
Yeah.
But I was kind of saying what John was saying previously, that they're buying. Well, it looked like they were buying the players for Amorim, but to me, now that the window's closed, it looks like they've kind of not fully committed to it because they're not sure it's going to work. So they haven't given exactly what he wanted, but they've given him a bit of what he wanted, so that if he does get sacked, it's not too much of an upheaval to switch it back to something else. That's what it feels like their window to me at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's got reeks of a bit of Daniel Levy, that, in terms of like, oh, well, you can't say we didn't back him, but like, actually, did you back him? Like, was it what he wanted?
Yeah, and then if it doesn't work, they'll be like, well, we didn't back him because we didn't think it was going to work, and now we've got a squad ready for someone else to come in and potentially get stuff out.
Which I agree with. I think someone could get more out of that squad than him.
Oh, 100%. If he gets sacked, they're going to be all over Iraola, I think.
Yeah, decent shout, actually.
They're stupid if they're not doing that.
Or Glasner?
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Because it's not been all... you'd think for Palace winning the FA Cup, it's not been a barrel of laughs down there over the summer, has it?
Nah.
No, I think, one of them two would definitely be in for a shout. I was going to say, I think Glasner staying would probably be Palace's signing of the season.
But on Glasner, would that really work though? Because he plays the same system.
I think he's just better.
But then Man United haven't got the players for the system still, so it's still going to be just as bad if they bring in Glasner. Glasner is a better manager, I agree, but the system still doesn't fit the players.
Maybe.
But he's won something in England.
Yeah, I suppose.
And at Frankfurt, so...
As much as they would be wise choices, I hope they go for Southgate or...
of course. Yeah, I want to go for them. Or Mourinho back. That would be the dream.
With feast.
That reeks of Thanos, doesn't it? The old where did your failure lead you?
Yeah.
It's really and he probably would say something to that effect in the first press conference back, Mind you, do you also think that Ollie, because he's now available, he might get the old 6-month caretaker routine again?
Stop teasing me.
It's just, there's so many options here, because I don't think Amarin's still there at Christmas, if I'm being honest, but
I don't see him.
I think he's lucky to make it that far.
I think when Jack was going through them fixtures, I think the Liverpool game could be the death knell,
I actually think it's potentially going to be the Sunderland game.
Which one's the one before the international break? Is it Sunderland?
It's probably one next week, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's 2 more before Christmas. I know that.
Oh man.
Well, so you've probably hit. I'm assuming I know where your brain's going there, John. Sunderland would be the last game before the international break.
Yeah,
and it's 2 weeks to the Liverpool game. So if they're going into 2 weeks before Liverpool with no winning out those 4 games,
you'd start to think that could be it, right? It's.
Or I wouldn't be offended if they beat City away, Chelsea, then lose to Brentford, then Sunderland. However they do it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
However the clown gets there or leaves there or whatever. Don't really care. But that 2 week period, they're not going into that.
He does, isn't it? He sort of wins a couple of difficult games here and there, and then loses some terrible ones, and it's like, well, he's still in a little bit of a plus. So they don't.
I think he might have gone after if they hadn't scored that last minute goal. I think they would have gone because I think he would have said something in his press conference that he wouldn't be able to come back from. He almost did that in his Grimsby. I mean, he did in his Grimsby match, didn't he? Yeah. He basically said they're not listening to me. I mean, surely that is fucking the biggest of alarm bells you could possibly.
Great indication there, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even say that on a Saturday afternoon at Haylen. They're not listening to me.
Do you know what? Whilst we're talking sort of ideal scenarios and fun Man United scenarios, I'm sort of looking at that and going, tell you what, with Jason Wilcox there, could old Russie boy get the boot from Ibrox and then about November time gets a call from his old mate? That'd be one Shark Tank to another, and if he gets eaten in both, it'd be just absolutely delightful viewing.
Getting away from my box, not in a box.
Oh, dear. I've been enjoying it so. It's been the best month of my life, footballing wise.
Mate, Chorlton in Manchester is tailor made for Russell Martin.
Oh, yes,
vegan home of the North, mate. It's got him written all over it.
Yeah,
he'll be able to ride his unicycle to training. It's that close to the ground.
And then I just want to see the Roy Keane and Gary Neville meltdowns trying to break down what he's actually trying to do when he's there.
Oh God, Roy.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it would be hilarious. Stocky, you've avoided it so far, but you're not going to get away from it completely. Your team's in this image.
Avoided what?
How do you feel your window's gone?
Not great. Not great. I still don't think we've addressed all the positions we needed to. I spoke a bit about my rage about the Callum Wilson one, and then to find out that Fulkrug's picked up an injury on international duty, which leaves us with just Wilson, kind of confirms this rage. Because I know he come on and look good for 15, 20 minutes, but if you got to rely on him to play a whole game, we're in trouble. It feels weird that everyone knew what we wanted and they left it till the last minute when they knew they couldn't get away with it anymore. If you know what I mean, when we got spanked twice, and they're like, "Oh, we better do it just to make sure." I heard one West Ham supporter say this week that West Ham's now sort of like the SAF version of Newcastle under Ashley, in that the owner would do just about enough to keep them in the league, and then after that, go, "Oh yeah, well, I think we'll be better than 3 other sides that do.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we are. We're essentially they're delighted for us to be in like lower mid-table purgatory.
That looks to be what they're trying to do at the minute. I'm just looking at your transfers out. There's some weird ones here. How have you loaned out Alvarez and Maxwell Cornet, by the way?
Well, how we've still got Maxwell Cornet. Again, as we mentioned with Man United, you give these players these wages and you can't offload them. Alvarez, I think he had a row with Potter or something went down and he was just... I quite like him because he goes around clumping people. I've got time for that.
He doesn't seem like the hot-headed have an argument with someone type.
Yeah. Oh,
it
God.
seems like he has just got rid of all of the kind of more passionate people in your squad because Kufau's gone.
Oh, that. Do you know what? We let go of Cresswell and Soufal on like end of contract. And the last couple of games of the season, they were 2 of our better players. As I've mentioned before, we've got a serious leadership void. There's no one. He sounds a bit Roy Keane, but you wouldn't want to be with any of them in the trenches, would you?
No.
Whereas if he was next to Soufal, you're like, yeah, I fancy it.
Is Souček and Bowen your last surviving players from the European Cup?
No, there'll be a couple of other ones dotted in there. I suppose we just got rid of the Gerd, Areola, let go of Anta. Yeah, that's about it. Another thing,
massive turnaround in a couple of years.
Yeah. And another thing is we've got there's barely anyone left at the club, let alone the side. But there's no more players left of sort of the Upton Park era. So there's no more. You've just got Noble who works sort of with youth teams a bit or does something.
Whatever he wants.
Yeah, well, fair enough. But there's no more link. There's no more old proper football about it. And it's like we say, it's just going to be more of a Ashley sort of just do what you got to do to stay up.
I think in that grouping of players in teams we've got there is that, like, you could argue Palace have got, 3, maybe even 4. I really like actually 5 maybe. They've got quite a lot of players that are at the same level. Like you've literally got Souček and Bowen, and then who is the best player?
That's a good question, mate.
The drop off is astronomical, isn't it?
Yeah, it'd probably be the one we just bought off Southampton, or the left back could be all right.
No, Paqueta's still there.
Oh yeah.
True. Sorry, yeah.
Don't even start me on that. I was reading about the FA case. We'll save that for another time. Yeah. Horrendous stuff.
Stocks. I was also hearing something, and I don't know. Like, I'm more asking if you can confirm or deny this, but so I read something along the lines of like West Ham have had since the end of last season. There were 20,000 season tickets that either left or did not renew or whatever. Is there any accuracy to that, or is that?
Surely not.
I think 20,000 would be enough. If you said 20,000 since we moved to the ground, I would say that.
Yeah. So I was going to say that sounded a bit steep to me. It didn't sound accurate.
Yeah. Do you know what? Even around me, there was quite a few people that didn't renew, and all right, not all of them were like chest beating fans, like old school fans, just in the seats next to me there was a woman who took her little boy there, and things like that. Like they've not renewed, but it's not been very fun, and I know they travelled a bit, but like dotted around, I think in every little area, they're like, oh, they're not here this year. Like you could hear it at the first game. Then a lot of people are jacking it in, and do you know what? I don't blame them.
The last time you were there, was there anyone still around, Joe? Was that
yeah. Well, yeah.
Or did you beat him to the exit?
Well, there was a bit of a
still
rush
around him because they were all went into the pub.
basically, my plan is now to keep the season ticket, then hope something happens. Like, I don't know, there's a gas explosion at the ground. Hopefully, when we're not there, and then we'll just get a new ground and I'll be straight in because I get my season ticket because everyone else is chucking theirs in, and I don't blame them. There's actually protests planned within the next 3 games or so. I've signed up a couple of petitions recently as well. I think I don't know. You definitely would have seen it, but essentially we've asked Sullivan to just don't have a hand in running the club. You can still own your shares, but actually employ people to run it properly. We were described as an analog club in a digital age the other day.
I think that's a very. I don't know how I saw that, but yeah, I think that's a very good way to put it. Because that was also how you would say, as the Premier League was exploding, kind of what, like you said about Newcastle under Ashley, they were a bit like analog in a digital age. So I think that's a good way to put it.
And again, like Man United, we sell horrendously. So because you chuck money at players to come, then when it don't work, you can't get rid of them.
And to be fair, we had you over a barrel for Fernandes, really, because we got a very good deal out of that. It was like something like 38 million up front, a 15% sell-on clause. Like we've done well from it.
But we were desperate because our midfield turned slower than milk.
But like Fulkrug, I mean, everyone could see that was just not going to work.
Yeah,
like you just knew it wasn't going to work.
Do you know what? For years we cried out, like I certainly did, like you need like almost a director of football or someone like that to take care of transfers, take it off of Sullivan, then they give it to an absolute chancer in Steiden, who so we had to like pay the 35 million for Todibo this summer.
I think you need a complete and full sort of total reset type thing, if I'm honest.
Do you know what? Yeah, we need some leaders. I think we needed a few more British heads in there, so we get a bit of blood and thunder.
Well, there's the West. Fucking on it. That's like reading the inside of a West Ham football program. That.
Well, it's true. There just needs a bit of. Do you know what? You can play crap, but if there's one player in that's going to go around and kick everyone, we'll still be behind the team. It's rather simple, but it's all what we want, huh?
That's why you brought Callum Wilson in.
No,
but you can fully understand where the analog club in a digital era is just coming from, right? If that's your mentality, then like that's not good, is it?
No, I just want one of them players. You need space for everything, don't you? But apparently the rest of the club's just not run very well. But yeah. Moving on.
The team that has probably had the biggest turnaround in this image, Nottingham Forest, seem to have a good last few weeks, brought in quite a few players. Do you feel they'll have a similar season to what they had last season? I think they're going to drop off still. They've made a few signings, but I don't think it's actually made them any better than what they were. So I think
they're never going to manage Europe. It's painfully obvious with that squad, in my eyes.
Like, he signed so many. Like, he signed 4 midfielders, and their midfield weren't bad last year. Like, how long do they think they're going to stay in Europe? Do you think he's still going to be in there in April, May?
Well, I sincerely hope for fans they give it a good run, because you'd like him to sit down and go, right, we are not going to be able to do it on both fronts. Let's make a good go of it in Europe. Let's make a good go at it in Europe, because you ain't going to be able to do it. They can't do it, can they? Let's be honest, guys. They can't do Europe and Premier League with that squad.
No. Well, if they play anything like they did against us the other week, then certainly not. They'd be better off putting all their eggs in the European basket.
I was just about to say that. Do you reckon they're going to roll the dice a bit in Europe, seeing how bad Tottenham and Man United were last season to both end up in the final? Do you think they're actually thinking, if we could just keep it ticking over in the league, there's going to be 3 or 4 teams worse than us, but we could go and win a European trophy and be in the Champions League the following year?
I think it's the hijacking of the Champions League place, because there could be an argument that it's easier to do it that way than it would be through the league.
Absolutely.
It is, yeah. If they look at how terrible Man United and Tottenham were last year, and they both ended up in the final. So it's potentially something they're looking at.
Is Nuno going to be there long enough, though? Is he going to roll the dice on him? Because, again, another tempestuous summer at the Forest Ground.
Sounds like all three of them are just fighting completely different corners at the minute. It was him, Nuno, the owner, and whoever the director of football is. I can't remember his name.
Edu.
That's the one, yeah. It sounds like they're all fighting different battles.
I honestly was expecting it to be... I was expecting Nuno to be turfed after last Sunday, to be honest. It had that feeling of that type of result. With all the noise that was surrounding it.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Jack?
Which is rubbish as a fan, isn't it? You know, is to have your owner, your manager, and your director of football after an amazing season not being aligned. You just got to think one of you has to go so we can start the season not with this hanging over us.
Yeah.
You know, it's just rubbish as a fan, isn't it? Which is why I sincerely am hoping they make it a play for the fans, for Europe, because I just don't think they're going to get a sniff at it for a long time.
Does that put the sort of moment where Marinakis came on the pitch at the end of last season? Do you think what's going on now sort of puts that in a different light? Because it kind of got brushed over as frustration about the game, and he wasn't really that upset with Nuno. But it's clear now that there's a problem there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's evident, isn't it? It's open. It's like openly out there, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. They can't even deny it now. But at the time, everybody around Forest was like, it's nothing. It's just a passion.
It's fine. Everyone's chairman runs on the pitch to have a go at the manager after an amazing season. It's fine.
At least there was no firearms this time.
Yeah. He's just passionate. Like, yeah, I know, but we've really got to move away in this world now of just saying passionate, and that gets you out of everything.
Imagine in 30 years' time, when someone has that interview with Gibbs White and says, "What happened? Why did you sign that contract?"
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Is this when they find and locate him 15 years later? You mean?
Yeah.
I just love the food in Cuba.
Yeah. There's CSI Nottingham when they go along the Trent. All these mans on the bank.
But there's so many things at play there for people like him as well. You know, he's got to look at it and go, you know, if we have a bad season, where does that put me in England? But the flip side of that is, you know, he's a guaranteed starter in any game they want to play. So I just think it's rubbish as fans, you know.
Yeah.
You got enough things to contend with players leaving your club. But I mean, other than Elanga, their squad largely untouched, unless I'm missing anyone. But
I don't think anybody else from the starting 11 left, to be honest with you.
So, I mean, if they kept Elanga, it would be an incredible song, wouldn't it?
Danilo never played. Apparently, Matt Turner was there. They're the only two fees. Everything else was sort of undisclosed.
That would be poor.
And
no one that left I would put down as a first team squad member, let alone player, apart from Elanga.
So this should have been your summer to build on, then, shouldn't it? If that's the case, that should have been your summer to build on it. Keeping the manager, then, you know, it really should. So
they got Zinchenko.
Yeah, they got him. That was last day, deadline day.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, they've proper filled their squad out. I just don't know if they've done it in the right way.
It'd be interesting to know where the fan base sits on it, though, because I think, like, when you've got an owner where, as much as everyone will question the way he does certain things, it's undeniable that, I mean, and it's mental the way he's done it, but he's taken them from a championship club basically to a team that have managed to get into Europe and were knocking on the door of the Champions League. You've then also got a manager that made a lot of that possible, but there's clearly at odds with each other. So do you get to the point where, like, as a fan base, like, are they going to, whose side are they going to fall on? Because, like, in a not so similar way, this happened with Saints, like sacking Nigel Adkins after, like, getting us back-to-back promotions. And at the time, everyone was up in arms on it, but suddenly bringing in Pochettino sort of turned out to be a masterstroke. Where people turn around and actually the ownership got that one right. Where would the fans sit when it comes to what Forest are doing?
Yeah,
I don't think you've got much in that squad to change a style, though, have you?
No, you haven't. Which makes me think, is Marinakis one of the ones that Mourinho was going at when he was out in Turkey? Because if Nuno goes in, say, the next month or so, like for like play-wise, there's not really much of a better fit who could potentially do a similar job than Mourinho.
Mourinho was quoted as he doesn't want a team in a UEFA competition, didn't he?
Oh, well, fair enough.
Well,
By the way, if I was a Forest player, I'd be chuffed that we're the parent club of what's their fame, Botafogo, because they've signed 1, 2, 3, 4 players just from there, and another couple from Brazil.
I can tell you right now, though, Forest are not going to be beating the famous 13 years in a row season victorious Ferencváros from Hungary. And I will be in that away end 29th of January, hopefully, to see them get qualification against them. So I don't really give a fuck, actually, how Forest go in the league or the cup. As long as they lose that one.
There you go. Right, last team we haven't really spoke about at all on this, Everton, who I think, out of this batch of teams, have had the best window.
Yeah.
Because they haven't lost anything from their first team. They've added in a few decent players, a couple of actual ceiling raisers in Grealish, and I would actually say Dewsbury Hall raises the ceiling of what they had before slightly as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they've had a very good window and can surprise quite a few people this season.
I think the forward as well, Barry from Villarreal. Because that was all right some days he's dross, isn't he? So
I think they're very similar types of forward though. So it'd be interesting to see, because if he can come in and be consistent, that's another one that brings the level up.
I'd also suggest that the average age of their squad has been trimmed down dramatically as well.
Oh yeah, because actually,
which I think is majorly important.
The core raid, Abel left, Lindstrom, Jack Harrison, a lot of old players have gone.
Mulpire, Begovic,
Ashley not so young.
Calvert-Lewin's gone. Decore was released.
I think Alan Stubbs was probably still knocking about somewhere, wasn't he? Like, there's that type of feel to it.
Craig
Shaw. You laugh, though, but is Seamus Coleman?
Paul Rideout was still getting a game here and there,
I believe
Seamus Coleman's still there, I think.
Yeah.
So he must be 38 or something, right?
Cool, and the rest.
Yeah, you can let him off, though. That's like club captain, club legend.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Best sign.
You'd think he'd just be kept around for morale.
He's still there. He played this season.
Wow.
He's 36.
Oh, is he?
Oh, wow.
I think they paid 40k in a bag and a kit bag for him.
Yeah.
No, it is something silly like that as well. That's not
I think that's what it was, yeah.
Like, it was silly. Whatever it was silly, and that's an exceptional deal done there, to be fair.
Was it like a full kit bag or that Umbro one where you've got the special bit at the bottom for your boots?
I'd suggest if you had another 40k, probably not, no.
There was no number 11 and no number 6 in the kit.
Yeah.
Someone
got short sleeves, someone got long. Still, be better than that kit that we donated that had the extramarital aid left in it.
Yeah, that's never good. Didn't that get donated to a church as well?
Yeah. We thought it'd be a laugh to stick a dildo in the kit, and then they got donated to a church team.
Oh, I'd die on the hill of the fact we seriously need a specifically Haaland episode of this pod. I think it'd be I'm not sure that you two would necessarily come out of it the same way, but I think it'd be fantastic.
God. Do you know when you say something out loud for the first time and you actually hear it out loud, it just sounds so much worse than what it was at the time.
For me, that's normally when I watch the shorts back that you put up on YouTube, but it's like...
Yeah. Well, apologies for those that do like the shorts. I've been slacking the last few weeks, but they will be making a comeback very soon. So. Okay, right. Next batch of clubs, the European race.
Loving the ladder match analogy going on here, man.
Big,
This
big
is wonderful.
TLC vibes.
Yeah.
I tried my best to make it as close to it as I can. So, yeah, but this was the best I could do with it. But an
Tottenham
interesting
got no
batch of
legs in
teams
this
here.
one, though.
Huh?
Tottenham got no legs in this one.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate.
Sort of looks like the old Cockerels getting ready to do a bit of a Jeff Hardy and just like swanton bomb someone somewhere like beneath it.
Right. I feel this needs to start with an explanation from a certain someone on the panel. Because when we did the prediction show, Jack wasn't with us. And Jack predicted that Brighton would finish 6th, I believe. So I'm a little bit curious of the thinking behind that one, Jack. To be honest, I think we all were at the time because we was reeling off from 6 up, and we were like, okay, yeah, we need to ask Jack some questions. But Brighton 6th, what was the thinking behind that?
Well, you just killed me off by saying I wasn't with you, so
You wasn't on the show. You wasn't on the show when we did the prediction.
Oh, right. So I'm still alive. I just wasn't on the show. Right. No longer with us. Yeah, I think I still stick by them finishing 6th.
Okay.
I don't think Villa have bought that well, and I mean, what? I've hardly been proved wrong thus far, have I?
No.
Can I just say something before you continue? You had Villa finishing 5th.
Oh, it's probably a good job I died then, wasn't it, really? Can I reincarnate and do it again? Did I?
Yes, you did. So your top 6 were Brighton, Villa, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool.
Right. Well, so Villa will come good then. I've said that all along. Yeah, I like Brighton's team. I think they're a good team, and they spawn. Is this Brighton that beat City 2-1 from behind on Sunday? Yeah, we're talking about that same. Okay, just wanted to double check. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm going to back him to finish 6th. I think they just seem to spur a couple of players. I don't agree with the manager's outfit choices, but I think he's another football pervert, so I'm not going to hate on him.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think Newcastle will have a good season, which also, unfortunately, I've hardly been proved wrong there, have I? I'm clearly wrong with my Chelsea, even though I backed in my Aka to finish in top 4, so that probably sums up where my head was at. And I don't think Spurs will do well. So yeah, I like Brighton. I think they're good. I think they can switch it up. They've got a few random kids that will be sold for 50, 60, and they managed to keep hold of Baleba as well. So I think they've got a good squad.
Fair enough. Fair play.
It's a wonderful endorsement for the strength of lager at the other end of the M6. You know, it's like...
Right, so what is the average of where other people had Brighton then?
Brighton would have been in the previous image if you hadn't mentioned them in the top 6. They didn't get mentioned at all, apart from Stocky said they were surprised to have a poor season. Other than that, they weren't mentioned at all.
I would have had them down about like anything from like 9th to about 11th sort of thing. That may be very harsh actually, but like, you know, that's at the time of the predictions, that was my thinking.
Yeah, I would have had him in a similar bracket, in that sort of no man's land bracket with the previous clubs we spoke about. But hey, we got the explanation we needed when we did the predictions previously. Yeah. So yeah, good stuff. So out of these clubs, might as well go straight into it. Who I think Villa have had the worst window, but who would you say have had the best window out of the remaining 4?
Well, for selling dead wood, you got to say what Chelsea do is phenomenal. I'm actually looking up who they sold, and I can't get all of it on our tablet screen. There's that.
Yeah.
I was going to do a shot like this of each club's incomings and outgoings, and Brighton, Chelsea's outgoings just messed up the whole plan because there's so many of them. It's ridiculous.
It's just not fun, is it?
No.
I think you can't almost compare Chelsea's window to anyone else's that's in the graphic, just because it's like they are such an anomaly because of what they are able to get away with.
They've made money.
27 players have left the club.
Do you know what I like in Chelsea too, right? So I like NFL and I've followed NFL for 15 years. But because I can't commit to giving it all of my energy, every year it's just a new squad of play. And because I don't watch college football, because again, I don't know how people actually do it. And players come in, and I'm like, all right, I've never heard of that player. And then I'll do a bit of research on them. And this is when they're live starting for my team, Pittsburgh Steelers, won today. And that's what it's like with Chelsea. I legitimately, because obviously I don't follow the Premier League militantly because I don't have a club in there. And like they'll bring players on, I'm like, I've fucking never heard of you. And then there'll be a player that's going off that I've actually just watched on the pitch, and I'm like, I've fucking never heard of you. Like it has become bizarre. And they did say they wanted like an American style strategy on it, a baseball like strategy, in the way that they get players and then move them on for. If you change the monetary figures that next to the Chelsea players outgoing, and you change them to draft numbers like you have in NFL, so you would trade a player for, we want your second and fifth round draft picks next year. If you change those numbers, the monetary figures, into draft picks, especially being the first year, James, of PSR, like you've just said, like that's the way that they're trying to kind of likening it to. If a couple come off, they can then move them on. It's almost like they have no intention or any strategy about who will actually play in their team. It's more who they can move on for value. And if a couple land, they've nailed it. Or even if they haven't even landed, they seem to be still getting money or picks into their team. It's mad. It is a different way of thinking about it. And that's what they're doing. No one's doing what they're doing.
Well, they've sold 50 millions worth of players just to Burnley.
Yes.
João Felix went for just over 40. Obviously, Madueke, like England star Madueke, who's not gonna. They got 52 for him. Renato Vega, who played a couple in the conference, they got 26 million for him. What's it? Carney Chukwuemeka? Yeah, that's the geese.
He's the one that went Burnley. Chukwuemeka was the one that they'd originally bought off Villa.
No, sorry, John. There's two very similar. One of them went to Dortmund for 25. Nkunku, who barely kicked a ball, went to Milan for 36.
Oh, you're talking about Chukwuemeka.
Yeah.
That one went Dortmund, yeah.
And then you still got the loans, like Chilwell just getting farmed out. Strasbourg in the last day, and Jackson, but it's just mental. But in the PSR age, they still made money this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Chelsea's window, I liken it to the cyclist you see that's in a really, really low gear trying to go up the hill. Like they're doing an awful lot of work, but it's not actually doing much. They've done so many deals, but have they really moved that far forward from doing all these deals? It just seems like they're in exactly the same place they were last year.
But that's what I'm saying, though, James. Like that's the original way of looking at what they're doing, isn't it? That's what we'd originally look at and say, have they moved the squad forward? But they aren't looking at it like that. They're not looking at it like a Brighton who signs someone knowing they're going to get 1 or 2 years and they potentially move on. They're looking at hoarding whatever comes good, move them on, and almost see where they are in 2 years' time in the third. So because if they can then spend in the third year of PSR and in the first season of it, the next round of it, that could then set them up for the next 5 years. I just think they're looking at it totally different. Not so much about improving the squad, which is dangerous and mad, but they're just not playing like how we would imagine a team to sensibly make transfers. It's weird.
We've not even related to it on the pitch yet either, which is mad. Because it's that bananas. We've not even got to the bit on the green stuff.
It's crazy because, to me, if they keep doing this say they do this for 2 more seasons, I would say by the end of the second season, they're going to have to rethink the strategy because other teams are going to improve and they're no longer going to be in the Champions League because they're literally just standing still, but making so many different deals while standing still. It just makes no sense.
I was going to say it's like they're treading water financially but like at the expense of the continuity with the team that are actually out on the pitch. I don't really know what they've done that drastically I don't see what they've done that takes them into the next bracket, which is what a lot of their fan base would be expecting them to try and do.
I agree.
It's weird. It's very weird. It'd be interesting to know what their plan actually is to move forward and if there is a plan. But yeah, odd one. Might as well roll on to Newcastle. I would say quietly we had a decent window in the end. I'm not that unhappy about the business that's been done. I feel like even in terms of money that we've brought in and players sold, our net spend we've spent £90 odd million overall and brought in, like, if you balance off how much we spent to how much we sold, I'm relatively happy, to be honest. I'm not too phased. I think we've brought in decent players. I think we've raised the ceiling in a few areas. We've pretty much got 2 players for each position without there being a horrific drop-off like there has been for the past God knows how many years. So, yeah, I actually feel we're going into this season with a stronger squad. Don't know what other people feel about it, but maybe I'm overly positive, but that's my personal view on it.
Yeah, I'd see. That's a very positive spin on it. Basically, though, your forward players have just got to come in and click.
Yeah,
but I think we've brought in the perfect player. I think in Wissa, we've brought in the perfect guy that can just come in and score goals.
You've overpaid, though.
If he comes in and scores 17 Premier League goals, have we?
Well, you're never going to get any money from him, are you?
Yeah, but that's not the point of the Wissa deal. The Wissa deal isn't to have him for a few years and sell him on. It's for him to come in and score goals now to stop Bolton having to score the goals that we need to score as a team. I don't think he's been bought in to get any profit back from it. He'll probably stay with us until the end of his contract and go somewhere dirt cheap at the end of it. But the point of it is he comes in and scores goals instantly. That's the plan.
Which you're going to have to do in order to sustain where you are in terms of like where you finished in the league last year. And ultimately, the goals really, you can't drop out of those Champions League places.
100% agree. Which is why I think we did the deal for more money than we would have liked to have done it. Because there's no one else that we could have got that you could say this guy can score goals in the Premier League on a consistent basis. Because Wissa's got, over the last 3 years, I think he got 11, 14, and then 19 last year with no penalty. Not a bad return, to be fair. If he can keep up consistently in and around the higher teams, then he's doing the exact job we need him to do.
Do you think the way Isak's gone about it is going to galvanise the rest of the squad?
I hope that's it. It's just done now, and they just get on with it. I don't think they should use that as fuel for anything. Just he's gone. He's done what he's done. Just get on with the season now. Forget about Isak and move forward. I'm not one of them fans that's gonna feel any way about him, check up on how he's doing, hope he fails. I just couldn't care less, to be honest.
Oh, you're a fucking better man than me.
I would have loved to have kept him. I think he's been a dickhead the way he's gone about it, but I'm not going to be hoping on his downfall or anything like that. He's gone now. Just let him go about his life. I couldn't care less. As long as we keep progressing, makes no odds to me whatsoever.
But you've not had a good start to the season, have you?
Oh, no, we haven't. But I would then argue that if we had one of Whistle or Volta made, our start would have been different because we've been playing without a front man.
And I think that was quite Gordon, drastically obvious. Sorry, Jack.
Anthony, I heard in the England game, Anthony Gordon hasn't scored for 250 games. 250 games, Jesus. 250 days.
I was about to say that's about as far off as my 10 times more than any other league comment earlier.
Yeah. 250 days he's not scored for.
There's probably something like that, yeah.
Which is mad because
number 9 is terrible.
It must just be every motherfucker that puts him in the fantasy football team for 1 week that he seems to score. But I think you need some wins and you need them quick. You get that, and you've not had that bad a summer at all. And I think you got to get that monkey off your back. But you need some wins quick.
Yeah, totally agree. We've got Wolves at home next, which we have to win. It's literally we're 4 games into the season and we're at must-win stage already. But that's just the facts of where we are.
Who's your chairman's favourite player now?
God knows. No
will he definitely not be sold because he's his favourite?
Well, if he's as much of a dickhead as Isaac, potentially he will be sold because he's his favourite.
Yeah.
But,
hey,
one of them things. We've all been wrong, and I was wrong on that one. So cut it close though. Nearly got over the line.
Yeah.
Nearly got away with it.
Yeah, but hey, it is what it is. And I always said we'd come out the other end a little bit stronger than we would go into it, and I feel we have done that. So relatively happy. Other than that, the team that I would say have probably had the best window in this group is Tottenham. And not because I feel like they've now got the best team in this group. I feel like what they've done this window moves them further forward than any other team in this group by quite a distance. So, and the key to that is bringing in Thomas Frank more than anything. Any of the other players. But then you add in Paulinho, you add in Kudo,
yes,
you add in Kevin Simmons, you add in Colin Mawani. It's a very good window from Tottenham.
Imagine if Spurs had signed João Pedro. They'd be looking now, and you'd be like, "That's a good team under Frank."
Would you not argue that João Pedro and Richarlison are basically the same player, though?
No, I've always rated João Pedro, to be honest.
I've never been his biggest fan of Brighton, but João Pedro's still better than Richarlison.
Yeah, but then also Richarlison's turned up like fucking Pele this season, hasn't he? So.
Yeah, he's had a good start.
He's injured a lot. If you look at his stats and his goals to minutes and stuff like that, he's been this good for a while. He's just not been playing because he keeps getting injured.
And he gives you something else, don't need to win some fouls and cause a bit of nuisance. So
Tottenham sold Højbjerg for 17 million.
God knows how they've done that.
Sold Son for 20 million to LAFC. This sounds dodgy. Oh, that was the only fees, really. Yeah, they're two of the only fees they got back.
Yeah, because their net spend is nearly £150 million. So,
jeez.
Well, spend some Champions League spondoodies, can't you?
Yeah.
But it's another one. It's a gamble. I read the other day, that if you get out of the group, it's worth £60 million.
Wow,
it's just insane.
It's mental, isn't it?
And that's what 24 teams out of the 32, is it, or 36?
I think you have to get into the proper knockout round.
Oh, you have to win the playoff game as well.
Yes, once you're
got you.
Knockout round is worth 60.
Yeah,
60 million.
Wow.
So you have got to finish in the top 8 or win your playoff.
You'd also, going back to Spurs there, you'd argue that I think with Paulinho, that's probably one of the most important signings in terms of, we've been talking about, signings that genuinely, address an issue or move a club, move a side on. I think he has been worth his weight in gold so far, and they'd be nuts not to try and get him permanently next year.
100%.
Him and Simmons, a massive upgrade.
He's the key signing.
Yeah.
If Simmons pays off and he plays to his potential, it's like a massive upgrade on Maddison. completely off the scale, as much as Paulinho is from the other holders they had last year. And to get on a loan as well, that's fucking good business.
Yeah.
Good business.
It's one of them that confuses me why Man United were sniffing around it, because that's the type of midfielder you need in that crap system that they've got.
Involves too much fault for them, doesn't it?
Yeah. I suppose.
It's not massively heralded, is it? It's just sensible, and that's not Manchester United.
Really good. Okay, I think we've kind of covered this bunch now, to be fair. The title race. City, Arsenal, Liverpool. All in the top of the money paid out this summer. Two of them are at the top for net spend this summer, apart from... Oh no, maybe not. I'm looking at the wrong club. Man City, the odd one out, actually. They're a little bit further down the list. Liverpool has spent 400, Arsenal has spent 250, Man City has spent 150, but Man City went crazy in January, so
yeah,
they've kind of hid a bit of their summer spending by spending it 6 months earlier. But how do you feel their summers ago? I feel out of these three, Arsenal have had the best summer, because I feel like they've addressed all of the issues, gaps they had in their squad have been filled.
Basically, at the end of this season, they'll know what was holding them back.
Oh yeah.
Did they not address transfer issues, or was it the manager?
Yeah.
Because you can't make any excuses player wise now, can you?
Yeah, that's it. He's got nowhere to hide. Arteta's got literally nowhere to hide now when it comes to trying to win big trophies.
Yeah.
I am sure that I'm sure injuries will play a part as well, and they'll try to claim that that's a big part of it.
But then again, like I was saying against Ange last year, if the same players keep getting injured in the same way, it's something to do with the way you're training the players.
Yeah.
It can't just be bad luck that the same players keep getting the same similar kinds of injuries. Like that's just not the way things work. It's just not how life works. There's got to be something fundamentally going wrong for it to happen.
And also to start a player who's clearly injured in the warm-up in a big game. I know you probably touched on that last week, but it's like that just seems bonkers.
Yeah, crazy. He put the ball out for a throw-in about 30 seconds in, and I was like, something's not right with it. And then a couple of minutes later, he was off the pitch.
And you'd say it's really got to go for Arsenal this year, because they've spent like oodles and actually not brought anything in the other way. So kind of needs to, like, this is them surely for a couple of years, because they've spent a lot of money over the past few years. Surely the world can't keep going on, can it?
Well, it can't for them. £250 million out, and they've brought in about 9 mil.
Yeah, I saw the same figure.
That's crazy.
But then I think, like, getting that centre half from Valencia, Mascara, for 30 million, I think that's really good. That's a really good signing.
Yeah.
But just the volume of the other, like, the massive fees for everyone else, like, yeah.
I've got a little bit of a probably unpopular take here. Their worst signing is the one that everybody said they needed. I actually think one of their worst signings will be Victor Gokeren.
I agree.
I don't think I genuinely don't think... I've always said I don't think he's the guy that fits their system.
Funny enough, I think Madueke is going to do really well for them. And they were having petitions that we shouldn't be signing him. I think he'll do all right.
Do you know what it is with Madueke? Yeah? He does everything right until the final moment.
Yes.
Which, if you're looking as a neutral, you're like, he's decent. But if he's one of your players, it's the most infuriating thing for an attacker to do. To beat his man, absolutely skin him, and then kick the ball out for a goal kick, or cross it too far, or shank the shot that just goes out for a goal kick. It's just like, that is just so annoying. And I can see the frustration of why it would come. But if he can get his end product right, he is going to be an outrageous player. But it's just that can he do it? Some players just can't.
And I think there was a few instances against Liverpool where exactly what you've just described happened. And I think that was probably one of the bigger difference, like one of the things that played into the overall result. In the moments that they got, I don't think the end product was good enough. And watching, sorry, go on.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, having watched like Gyökeres in a couple of the like away performances now, like in at bigger grounds, sort of, I've not seen enough, like really for me, to convince me, like you said, for what they're trying to do in that system. I'm not sure he's the answer. Like,
not in the big games in the Premier League. He'll score goals against, say, 10th down.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Brentfords and all that.
Actually, genuinely believe in the Champions League, he'll score a lot of goals as well. But I don't think he's the guy to bring in to win the Premier League. But maybe I'm wrong. I've clearly been wrong on a few things this summer, so maybe that's another one.
Oh, come on, mate! Don't let it hit your confidence like that.
No,
I actually think he'll do well.
I think statistically he'll do well, but the games where you sign your number 9 for to win for you, will he do it then?
Well, we've already had 2 of them, and he hasn't done it.
Yeah, it's fair.
That was literally my exact point. I was saying to Arsenal fans before he'd even kicked the ball in the league. I was like, look at his stats in Portugal. Like, I think 5 of his goals last year came against teams in the top 5 or something like that, and the rest of them came against like teams in the bottom half. He's not the guy for them games that are close technical games. He's not a technical player. He wants open, expansive games. When you get him in open space, like the Leeds game, that game was the prime example of it. He wasn't looking good, and then all of a sudden he pulled wide, and Leeds gave him 15 yards to run into, and he went and scored his goal. When he hasn't got the time to build up a head of steam, he's a completely different player. He's not a great technical player. He's just not the fit for me in the big games for us.
With the Eze thing, do you just think that was another market opportunity? So, like, they just didn't want him to go to Tottenham?
Potentially, and Havertz getting injured probably played a part in it. I just, again, where does he play?
I feel like it depends on whose opinion you're looking at that from, because I think for Eze and for his agent, I think they knew exactly where they wanted him to end up. And I really honestly believe that they did everything they did with Spurs because they knew, all right, yeah, we can go here, but I'd be stunned if the agent's not going back to Arsenal and telling them exactly, like, this is what you could get him for. Like, and I think his desire was always to end up at Arsenal. And I think they just played Spurs like a fiddle.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the little bit on Arsenal. Let's do Man City before we do Liverpool. Because I think a lot of their main business was done in Jan, but the team they've ended up with, how do people feel that this is going to turn out for them? Because I think they've done some really good business, and once it clicks, a lot of them could be in a bit of a problem here.
How long does it take to click, though?
That's a very good question.
And what are we classing as click? Because I think the first week we watched them, we were like, oh, fucking hell, here we go again. And then they put in a couple of stinkers. Is football changing? Like, the way teams doing things not going to suit the way it plays anymore? Don't know. I mean, they've bought 2 keepers as well. Is that the biggest problem for Man City, the keeper?
Yeah. Do you know what? I've got what I think on the goalies. I think Pep has seen the opportunity with Donnarumma and decided that he's going to go with it because he doesn't feel playing out with his feet is going to be as key now. He's seen that they're quite easy to get through still, and he wants the best shot stopper he can possibly get in the goal, which is why they've gone and got Donnarumma. They're going to be conceding more shots than what they normally do. And I think if that's his thinking, I actually think it's a really good choice.
It's a lot more pragmatic than most people would assume from Pep, isn't it?
Yes, 100%. 100%. The only thing I feel that they've missed is going out and getting a right back.
Yeah. So it's weird, man. 'Cause once upon a time, they sort of like they were boasting like Cancelo and Kyle Walker and that like there, weren't they?
Yeah.
It seems to be a hell of a downgrade. Was it like Rico Lewis now, and then who would go there in the event that he wouldn't?
Nunes. They've been playing Nunes there anyway.
Yeah.
Lewis.
Fullback's a key area, like in modern football, isn't it? So you'd have to wonder like what the thinking was behind not addressing it.
Didn't that Nico O'Reilly play there? I like him. I think he's pretty good.
He's been playing left wing back.
Left back, yeah.
Was he being left? Right.
Left back. Right. So while we're doing this, what I'm going to do, hopefully this works how I want it to. I'm going to bring this up.
Ooh.
Replace speaker. Sorry, I just need.
What's the score at this point? Sorry, are we winning? Are we losing? Is this pre-match?
There we go. Right, we're all back on the
This
screen.
is before pens.
I've narrowed the pitch slightly because obviously we're covering a little bit of pitch there. But I would say I haven't got Donnarumma, but it's probably going to be Donnarumma in goal. I would say this is most likely what City are going to line up like-ish. Once everybody's fully fit, this is going to be nearish to their starting 11. Which I feel is quite strong.
I agree.
I feel it's quite strong. If Rodri can get back to his best, I don't think you get a better double pivot in the league than Rodri and Rangers.
No, I love that. That Rangers is, second best sign of the season for me.
There you go. And then Cherky, Mamouche, Bob. That's the only one that confuses me is why he's persisting with Bob at the minute. Because I don't think he's done a single thing at the start of this season. He seems to be the one that plays 90 minutes every game. And I can't quite get my head around why.
I mean, who jumps in over him?
You could have Doku. You could bring. Shaqiri's injured, isn't he? So, but you got Doku, Foden.
Isn't Foden's injured as well, though, isn't he?
Is he?
Is Savinho?
Yeah. I don't know.
Bernardo Silva, Savinho.
He was also being heavily linked with a move out, wasn't he, Savinho? So, like, you don't know whether that
He was
factors in.
Yeah, but it could do. But I just don't get why he's persisting with Bob so much because, like, the game they played against Brighton and they started making subs and he was still on the pitch and I was thinking, I haven't seen him in the game at all and he looks like he's lost a yard of pace since his injury as well. So he's not even as explosive as he looked when he first came on the scene.
I suppose you wonder, like, is there still a place for Foden there in that role and they're just waiting for him to be fit?
Potentially. But then you'd either probably see something like that with Foden being in there.
Which again looks tasty there, right? If Foden can get anywhere near close to being what he was, that looks like a top 3 team in the Premier League 100%.
Yeah, agreed. And I also quite like that. Maybe not left. Maybe he goes right, he goes left. Because their back four is very slow. And having Kuzanov in there sort of covers a bit of the space that they're leaving behind. It's just whether he's got a cool enough head to not get booked every single game of the season. Because he is an absolute walking yellow card.
Yeah, like I say, they've got options. It's just will it click or when?
When will it click? Yeah, my theory on it was when I first started speaking about who I thought was going to win the league. My theory on it was because they did so much of this business in Jan, they had the Club World Cup to trial a few things. Then they had their little break, and then they'd come into the season firing. And that clearly hasn't happened. So, yeah, I still feel that they will click early enough for them to win the league, but it is a little bit worrying that it still doesn't seem to be working for them. Well, it's not worrying,
Maybe
I'm not a Man City fan, but
maybe having Donnarumma as a keeper might, just invoke a bit of confidence at the back because they still look all right going forward. They're so porous. Maybe having a good cat behind them.
And what you said, I think you said it on a previous show, Stops, when we were talking about Donnarumma to Man United. He might not be great with his feet, but he can kick the ball extremely far.
Yeah, he
So
can
when it
fucking
does
toe
go
it.
back to him and teams try and squeeze City in, and he just lobs a massive ball over the top, and you've got Marmoush and Haaland trying to run on the end of it. Edison's done it a few times and got assists. It's potentially something that Pep's looked at as well. He just said to him, "Look, draw him out slightly. As soon as you get closed down, whack it."
Mate, look, all of these things that thrived in the 70s and 80s could come back round. This could be the decade for it. Route 1.
I don't think there's any better podcast, better place than us to be taking that.
Oh God!
Okay, anybody want to?
We all know I don't roll.
City?
And also, what makes me laugh as well, because we all know my strong views on it. Like every single post is, well, he's not that great with his feet. I'm like, oh, that's pretty handy, that, because he's a keeper. Why does everyone keep saying that?
I don't know why this does this every single time I do it. It's a completely different side. So I'm just going to bring up Arsenal's and see how it kind of compares.
I tell you what, the app's done you dirty there because it's giving you players that ain't even at the club.
The lineup he's given me is just stupid.
So that's what they'll be playing when Arteta's got them all hamstring injured.
That's all I'm going to need to do that if I do that.
Oof. Oh, that's presumptuous. Lewis Skelly starting at left back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
This isn't England.
By the way, didn't that spectacularly backfire yesterday?
I don't know. Did it? I didn't see. What were you referring to in terms of that?
I assumed he was there just to be an extra attacker, and he just didn't do much of it. He just sort of run into where Andorra players were standing and didn't really do much. Like, it was hard. I did find it hard to concentrate at times because it was drab.
As you've already called me out, I'm going to change it to Calafiori.
Yeah.
So, arguably, Arsenal's strongest side. Which, again, it kind of looks like a title-winning side, really, on paper.
It does.
You don't really get much stronger across the board than that. I don't think the players are Arsenal's problem. I've said it for a while. I think Arteta gets his tactic wrong in the wrong games way too often. And that will happen again this season. That'll be the reason they don't win the league for me.
I mean, if you change Martinelli to Eze, that's... And
that's what I was going to ask.
If you got that team on Football Manager, you'd be confident in your abilities to get that.
Yeah. It's an extremely strong squad, because even if you look at the bench, I saw the lineup thing that they did earlier in...
I saw it as well, the first and second squad thing.
Yeah, and you look at both sides and you're like, actually, that's a bit of a joke. It's actually a bit of a joke how strong they are. In fact, while people are talking, I'm actually going to do it right now.
But then if you just take out Gyökeres, though, it's... What is then there? Kai Havertz?
Yeah, you'd have to think.
Jesus when he's fit again. I mean, the way they were going on about it, you'd think he was dead.
No, that's going to be...
Well, yeah, some people seem to think he's gone for quite some stretch, right?
He done his cruise ship, I think.
Who's this? Kai Havertz?
No, Jesus.
Jesus. I thought Jesus was back in... I thought there was images of him back on grass, which means he's probably about 6 weeks to 2 months out if he's just back on grass from a long injury.
Yeah. They've got a mad squad depth now, and you know what? They've paid for it, and this is why, like I said, it's the crux season. I kind of... It's probably a moot point because he's their captain, but I would theorise that I think Eze would be better for them in the middle than Ødegaard at times. Or certainly in some games, and have a bit more thrust about him.
This, for me, if this was my side, it would look like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the look of that too.
Strongest, that's how I'd go. I know Rice normally goes left or he goes in the 6, but Rice is such an adaptable midfielder. He can do the same role from either side, and then you just switch where you're having your sort of more 10-ish kind of midfielder going in. And I think that's the best way they could set up this season.
That'd be frightening. So much direct running at a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting to see how they do go and whether Arteta can get it right more often than not. I think he's already got it wrong twice this season. And yeah, if he keeps doing it, that's going to be the reason they don't win a major. But
hey. And then like Saliba injured as well. That's not helpful.
Yeah, but as you just said, your man came on and he looked genuinely really good, didn't
he? Yeah.
Like he did.
As much as Arsenal fans don't agree, I think he's more key than Saliba. I think Gabriel's the one that's the key man in their defence rather than Saliba. Saliba's the one that does all the line splitting passes and looks a bit of a Rolls Royce, but I think Gabriel holds it all together.
Yeah, he's a top shithouser in there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you were saying, like, Mitch, about them were like more likely to. Well, you were talking about like Gokares and saying that like you think he'll score a lot more goals in the Champions League. Do you think that means they've got a better chance of going further than that, like in that competition than they have?
Yes. They're the team I'd say from England that go furthest in the Champions League.
You said that, didn't you?
Yeah. Because I feel the teams in the Champions League will all want to play the way they normally play, and it will leave more space. They'll come up against less low blocks in the Champions League, which leaves space in behind. Gokares will run in behind and score more goals. He'll have more space, and he'll be one-on-one with defenders a lot more than he is in the Premier League. And I feel that's why he'll be more effective in the Champions League.
That's fair.
Whereas when you're in a low block, as soon as you take a bad touch, a good DM has nicked the ball off the toes, even if the defender doesn't get it. So that's why I feel he'll struggle a lot more in the Prem.
That's fair.
Let's see if it stitches me up with the lineup again, which it probably will. It has. It's given me Chiesa already. Who the hell's Ramsey?
He's not been registered for the Champions League, has he, Chiesa?
No. He had for most of... Oof. Brutal. I thought there'd have been one he might let go.
Yeah, but I guess it was whether the offers were right or like whether they had enough people interested, or it just could be a wages thing. He's probably on pretty good wages there.
Yeah.
Is it a 25-man squad for Champions League?
You can name 25, but you have to have a certain amount of trained at your own club and trained in the country.
It's 8, isn't it?
I think it's 8 in England for your own club to get the full 25. The reason Liverpool have only named 22 or 23. The reason they haven't named Chiesa is because they haven't got enough trained at your own club, I feel, which is why they've actually named Ngoma as an A-list player, because they needed to name him to then name someone who hasn't been trained in England again. Don't know if that made sense, but it sounded confusing as I was saying it.
Oh no, mate! You've done it perfectly. Football Manager players will be delighted with your breakdown of that.
Okay, I don't know how to edit players' names on this because this is a new app, but we are missing Isaac. I don't know how to edit a name, so yeah, apologies. But we'll pretend that Isaac can be Endo. So for those watching, if you've just joined, I'm not playing Endo as a number 9. I'm pretending he's Alexander Isak because I can't figure out how to change any name.
Hey, that's
he's so bitter. He's like Champ. He's just going to start finding him and then playing him out of position.
One of my mates got taken to on Football Manager. He kept fining Lauren Robert 2 weeks' wages, and he got taken to court. That is one of the most astonishing sort of like FM stories that I've ever heard. Like, I don't even know what that had come across like, but
why was he finding Lauren Roberto?
he wanted him to go, but he tried to sell him a couple of times, and then like he'd come back and be like, "No, I've not agreed terms like with the club." So he kept fining him 2 weeks' wages, and then Lauren Robert took him to court. It was like,
it's going to annoy me on the pitch, so I'm just going to have to get rid of all the Newcastle players now and just put them up for Liverpool.
You know how many players did Liverpool sign from you?
We just gave them all of them. This X left now. We haven't got a team anymore, so you can have them all. Right. So, this is arguably Liverpool's best 11. Well, it's Liverpool's best 11 players. Whether they fit or function as a team in this is another question. I don't feel this is a functioning 11. Again, I could be horribly wrong, but I feel that this will at some point become a problem because Ekitike wants to play there or there. And Isak will only want to play there or there. Wirtz is Wirtz. They're not really going to want to drop him. And Salah's, you can't really drop him. So you can't.
No.
You have to play with a player on the right because you can't really drop Salah. So it just feels to me like this is what they have to play. And without this guy here, Szoboszlai, I feel like they're missing a water carrier in midfield. As much as that's probably downplaying what Szoboszlai does, but every midfield needs a water carrier. No matter how talented they are, once they get the ball, you need a player that does the running with what a water carrier does. Joe Linton does it for Newcastle. Rice does it for Arsenal. He's not just a water carrier, but he does that level of running. Liverpool haven't got one of those when you line up like this, and that's my biggest worry for them.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, if Isak hits the ground running and just starts banging goals, then I don't think it really matters. Because a lot of teams will be so frightened of what could happen, they won't attack him. I think only the bravest sides will, and they'll be probably the ones that get most out of them.
Yeah, be interesting to see. I feel that it will leave them very open at times because a lot of times you will see that when they're attacking.
And you will actually see that exactly what you've just done.
Yeah.
And you've got a ball over, haven't you? It's
exactly what Bournemouth did. One breakdown and they found Semenyo in a bit of space, and he's in on the back too. And if he peels this side towards Konate's easily get out of ball, and Van Dijk doesn't want to defend until he's in his own box. So if someone's going to take a decent shot from 35 yards, they've already created a good chance.
Yeah. Maybe they're just going to try and outscore people. I mean, it feels like they're stacked like they want to go far in most competitions because that's a lot of artillery.
But I was hoping someone was going to make that point, Stocks. What happens, say Salah gets injured. Now what happens?
Yeah, they are out of whack. I think they shove Wirtz out there.
Yeah, they're going to have to. But then they're then going to have to do something like that, which probably looks a bit more functional. I think it's a waste of Wirtz, but it looks a bit more functional in midfield.
Wirtz moved around a lot. Do you know who's someone that's really good for them, who just can seem to do a job and he will at least be 7 out of 10? It's Curtis Jones. I think he's a little bit unheralded for them.
Yeah.
I really like him. I mean, he can do like a lot of jobs. I think he could cover a multitude of sins for them.
I don't even think I've brought him off the bench, to be honest with you.
And Harvey Elliott's a bit of a loss from as well, because that also would have opened up the Champions League English spot, wouldn't it?
I think they just wanted to sell him, but they just no one come in with the right money.
He's gone though, isn't he? Harvey Elliott.
Yeah, he's on loan. Yeah, he's on loan, but they won't be able to afford to buy him. Do you know what? You was just saying about all them forwards. I think Jack hinted to this a couple of weeks ago. Screams of a Salah strop. And he'll go to the Middle East for I think the technical
120 million.
Yeah, fuckloads of money, so they end up making a profit this season or something.
Yeah.
And then they'll automatically have more balance, I think.
Yeah, because when I asked a couple of Liverpool fans this, they said, we're just going to play a diamond. And I was like, okay, where does Salah play the diamond? And they was like, well, he'll play near the front man. I was like, okay, so then who doesn't play it other TK and Isaac?
Yeah.
And it's like every solution you give me, there's another answer that there's another question that no one wants to answer.
Well, the answer is Ekatike, isn't it? That is the answer.
But he's probably the biggest dickhead of the bunch that will kick off quicker than anybody else.
But that is the answer, though, isn't it? Regardless of what happens afterwards.
If they're potentially going to do that, and where have I lost Isaac?
Just put Sven Botman up front for a laugh.
So they could potentially also do that, which also feels really harsh on Gakpo.
Yeah.
Because I feel he's had a really good start to the season, and he's been good for the back end of last season as well. So
I saw a quote from in the Dutch press today that Bayern were heavily linked with him, and he said, but they decided to go with Luis Diaz. So I mean, I don't feel he's got much allegiance if he's not going to be playing.
No,
I think in the short term he may. Sorry.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, in the short term, like Gakpo just might briefly benefit from the fact I don't quite know how match sharp Isak is going to be for the next 3 to 4 weeks, and it might be that actually dropping Isak straight into that 11 is not going to be the initial option. It begs the question: what do you do once he is right?
Well, so I've got a friend who sort of reports on Newcastle a little bit. And he got a video. I haven't seen the video, but he took a video of Isak training on his own while he was still at Newcastle. And training does a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence. He was basically there with one coach from the youth team and a bounce board and an open goal. And he was just hitting it against the bounce board, taking a touch and shooting. And that was the extent of his training. And he was at the training ground for an hour and a half. And he was outside for 45 minutes.
It would have been to tick a legal box of did you refuse to train?
Yeah, and it would have been. So if that's all he's been doing this whole time he's been on strike, he's going to be miles off.
Yeah.
I've been saying for years, I don't think a lot of people who have never had a proper pre-season realise how important a proper pre-season is to a player's full season. You come out of it feeling like a completely different person when you've had a proper pre-season.
And also with his injury record, though, they'd be crazy to try and rush him in.
Oh yeah, 100%. It'd be interesting to see if he plays for Sweden tomorrow night.
He was on a bench, wasn't he? But he didn't. I don't think he came on today.
Didn't come on the other day, but he is in the squad and he was on the bench. So it'd be interesting to see if he gets any minutes for Sweden tomorrow.
Yeah, I still, the whole Isaac thing just smacked.
I think it would have just stopped at smacks.
Yeah.
Have we lost him?
I thought I heard him come back just a second ago.
No, I think we have lost him.
Oh no, he's back. He's back. He's moving. Oh.
Oh no, he's gone.
No.
When he comes back, I'll add him back in.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting season because there's a lot of sort of unanswered questions, I feel, across the board in the league this season, more than we've ever seen before, just due to the turnaround of players that we've had this summer. Right, Radio stops. You're back. Are you back in? You back with us?
Yeah, sounds like it. Like you said, I do agree with your balance issues in Liverpool. It was an opportunity they couldn't let go.
Yeah, agreed. I think next summer would have been a bit of a bidding war between a few clubs. potentially PSG, potentially Bayern Munich, potentially Real Madrid if things don't go well for them this season. So they thought, right, we'll get it done this summer.
Mbappe and Isaac, that would be fucking disgraceful, wouldn't it? Jesus Christ.
It is a bit like cheating, isn't it?
Just be like on FIFA, just be like through ball, who to? Fuck it, one of them.
Yeah.
Chip over the top to who? Over the top, like. We'll worry about that when the ball lands.
Whoever gets there first.
Yeah. No, seriously, like that'd be ridiculous, that wouldn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to this season, regardless of anything else. I think we're going to get a lot of interesting games. I think we're going to get quite a few goals. I think it is going to be a very exciting season.
I think it would have been worth a bet on, like, the last thing I would need is something else, but like the spread bet. Where you're saying like over and under goals for the season. I actually have no idea what number it would be if you were to stop me in the street. But this year feels like it's going to be high scoring.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of attackers and not a lot of great defenders.
And especially after the Club World Cup, you've had, City have had, well, I think they've had they had half a game each, didn't they, in their pre-season? Palermo away. They just changed the team at half time, which is just mad, isn't it? So when you're talking about, pre-seasons, James, you're absolutely right. But, are these teams are teams like City then going to come into their stride and just start dismantling people? Or are they actually going to struggle to get to a level throughout the whole season? Is Chelsea's 70-man squad then going to come good?
Yeah.
They're it's not a regen squad. It's a squad of regens, isn't it? It is going to be interesting. I do think it's going to be high scoring because I think teams like Burnley have realised if we don't fucking go for someone, we've got no chance. Leeds, we don't try and go for someone, we've got no chance. I think Sunderland, seem pretty gung ho. I think it's going to be, certainly as we get towards the latter end of it, I think it's going to be pretty end to end.
Sorry, I'm just placing a bet on 0-0s for the season, Jack.
Yeah, that's very wise. Yeah, the reason why I play 6 defenders on Fantasy League.
Looking at it, it looks like last season was actually the highest season the Prem's ever had.
I think I do remember that. I actually think they beat it with. Did they beat it quite considerably?
Oh no, the season before. So 23-24 had 1,242 goals.
Damn.
And
I'm pretty sure they beat it with a game week to go. I'm sure it was something mad that it was already before a goal was scored in the final week. It was already something like that. But as we know, I'm quite relaxed regarding my statistical facts.
For some reason, I can find everything except for last season. I've got all the way back to 2014, and then 23-24 is the highest.
Well, when was Southampton? When you were in it last year, weren't you? What about the year?
We scored about 3 goals approximately, so I'm not sure we'd have added much to the proceedings, but
it wasn't. That wasn't really the angle I was going for, John.
That would make sense. Yeah, that's a good shout.
You did concede 392 goals as well, though, John. So
it makes sense,
It's all right. West Ham are keeping up your good work, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Matty Fernandez trying to claw another team out of the jaws of death.
Glutton for punishment.
I've just found it. Last season was 1,115 goals.
So there's a difference of over 100 there then between the two. Well, nearly 150.
131 goal difference.
No, I might actually be correct then. Well, let's just pretend it is. Should we save the best transfers for next week when Samir's on so we can hear him either crumble regarding Gyökeres or sing his praises.
Yeah, we can do. We can do that next week.
Yeah.
We could do that.
I reckon. Best and worst. Also gives us another game week as well, doesn't it? And
also gives us some time in the week so we can all collaborate to make sure we can all come up with the answers that will piss him off most.
Yeah. Well, he was pretty open and honest, wasn't he, after the Liverpool game? Yeah, the week before he was completely incoherent after a 1-0 scrappy victory against United. And then the week after a scrappy, arguably 1-0 loss to Liverpool, he was Arteta out. So at least he's got a wide emotional range between the two.
Yeah, Samir is definitely a very crash out type of fan. So,
well, you could argue he's not wrong though in that sense. If there was a goal either way in that game, it's a totally different ball game, isn't it? But they probably deserved a draw against Liverpool, regardless of whether they went for them, and they didn't deserve a win against United, did they? So, they could be sitting in a pretty bad position now as well.
Yeah, small margins. I feel the same for our season. Very small margins have meant that we've got 2 points from 3 games when we could quite easily have had 6, 7. Well, we could have had a maximum, to be fair, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, West Ham Spurs as well. Ooh.
West Ham Spurs is Saturday as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Saturday 5:30.
T25 this day, followed by West Ham Spurs. Lovely stuff.
Yeah, Lancashire through to that as well. So that I think Lancashire are the 10:30 game, so that's fucking great. I mean, let alone 12:30 early kickoffs piss me off, but bloody 10:30 start, that stinks of Lancashire being like 80 for 3 after 15 overs or something ridiculous. Yeah. Spoiled my breakfast, let alone my fucking lunch and dinner.
Quality. Right, boys, as always, has anybody got anything to promote before we go?
I have not. I have not.
No, I believe me. Actually, I don't think we are because it's international break. We don't do the Monday
week,
pitch.
yeah.
So no Monday pitch tomorrow. I'll be back on Spurs Kings TV Wednesday, 9:30 for the rival show. But outside of that, we will be back Sunday for this again at 9. But I will be looking to get a pre-game in for whatever games on Sunday. It won't be Saturday because I'm at Edgbaston. So.
Well, you're at the finals day?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Okay. But for those who have joined, thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. And thank you for being with us.
See you later.